Good morning, everyone, and thank you for choosing Market Briefing, market analysis, and financial news. Every day, our goal is to provide you with a thorough and knowledgeable analysis of the most relevant financial news to help you navigate the complex economic landscape. Let's begin our daily review. Financial news, August 28, 2023. Global markets tracking U.S. momentum. Global markets are opening the week on a positive note, taking cues from a robust performance in U.S. equities. This optimism stems from the remarks of Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, who hinted at a measured approach to interest rate hikes. Investors across the Asia-Pacific region are expected to respond positively to Powell's comments, setting the stage for modest gains. Powell's monetary policy stance. Jerome Powell's comments on monetary policy have garnered significant attention. He stressed the need for a cautious approach to raising interest rates, citing concerns about the ongoing global economic recovery. Powell's remarks suggest that the Fed may not be as aggressive in tightening monetary policy as previously anticipated. This shift in tone is viewed as a positive signal for equity markets worldwide. Currency markets displaying restraint. In the currency markets, major currencies have largely maintained narrow trading ranges during early Asian trading hours. Notably, the Japanese yen experienced a slight weakening following Powell's comments, having reached its lowest point this year. Bank of Japan Governor Kazuo Ueda refrained from commenting on foreign exchange rates but emphasized that price growth remains below the central bank's target. Meanwhile, the euro remained resilient, seemingly unaffected by European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde's commitment to maintaining high borrowing costs until inflation is under control. The spotlight also remains on the Chinese yuan as China continues its efforts to stabilize its currency. Mixed signals from Chinese equities. Chinese equities are navigating through mixed signals. Recent data highlighted a decline in industrial profits, while concerns about deflation persist. China has taken steps to bolster its equity market, including reducing the stamp duty on stock trades for the first time since 2008 and pledging to slow the pace of initial public offerings. These measures aim to strike a balance amidst conflicting forces within the Chinese economy. Treasury yields in focus. The spotlight is on Treasury yields, which have inched higher in Asian markets. Particular attention is directed at the yield on two-year bonds, known for its sensitivity to the Fed's policy shifts. Currently, it stands above 5%. While Treasury yields remained relatively stable during Powell's speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium, they experienced an uptick afterward as the message of potential rate hikes resonated with investors. In contrast, Australia's three-year bond yield saw a modest increase on Monday, while 10-year rates edged lower. Analysts suggest that high-quality fixed-income instruments continue to offer an attractive risk-adjusted investment opportunity in this environment. Economic data and Fed caution. Powell's address at Jackson Hole emphasized that the process of restoring inflation to its target still has a long way to go. He also hinted at the possibility of officials maintaining interest rates at current levels in September, aligning with market expectations. Several Federal Reserve officials have expressed their views on rate policy, with differing opinions ranging from a patient approach to rate hikes to concerns about under-tightening. Busy week ahead. The upcoming week promises to be busy for investors in Asia, with over 360 members of the MSCI Asia-Pacific Index expected to release their results, an unprecedented weekly tally this season. Investors will closely scrutinize these corporate reports for signs of a bottoming out in corporate profits, which could further bolster gains in Asian equities. Before proceeding with our analysis, we would like to remind you that your support is very important to us. If you enjoy this video and find our content helpful and engaging, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. This helps us grow and provide you with even more quality content. Now, let's get back to the news on the financial markets and the latest updates. US dollar retreats after 6 weeks of gains. The US dollar index, after a 6-week streak of gains, is starting the week on a subdued note. In the European morning, the greenback struggles to find demand. This shift comes after Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's remarks at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium on Friday, where he reiterated the Fed's preparedness to raise rates further if necessary. The US dollar's retreat can also be attributed to the positive sentiment in US stock index futures, which have begun the week in positive territory. Currency movements. In the currency markets, we see significant shifts in exchange rates. The US dollar was the weakest against the euro, with a decline of 0.18%. Meanwhile, the euro saw a gain of 0.18% against the US dollar. Other major currencies, including the British pound, Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, New Zealand dollar, and Swiss franc, also exhibited varying degrees of movement against the US dollar. China's stimulus measures. China's finance ministry made headlines by announcing a substantial reduction in the stamp duty on stocks trading, cutting it in half to 0.1%. This move is aimed at invigorating the capital market and boosting investor confidence. Such stimulus measures can have far-reaching effects on not only Chinese markets but also global investor sentiment. Positive data from Australia. During the Asian session, Australia released encouraging retail sales data for July, showing a 0.5% monthly increase, surpassing market expectations. This upbeat data, combined with improved risk sentiment, lifted the Australian dollar to US dollar, which was trading above 0.6400. Euro's resilience. Euro to US dollar, after a volatile week, found support in the weakened US dollar. European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde emphasized the importance of keeping interest rates at restrictive levels as long as needed to achieve their 2% medium-term inflation target. Bundesbank President Joachim Nagel is scheduled to deliver a speech later in the day, potentially offering further insights into European monetary policy. Bank of Japan's stance. Bank of Japan, BOJ, Governor Kazuo Ueda reaffirmed their commitment to the current monetary easing framework, citing inflation still being a bit below their target. This has had a stabilizing effect on US dollar to Japanese yen, which started the week with slight daily gains, hovering near 146.50. Pound sterling's performance. Pound sterling to US dollar began the day in a tight trading range around 1.2600 during the Asian session but has since edged lower in the European morning. Gold snaps losing streak. Gold prices have managed to snap a 4-week losing streak, reclaiming the $1,900 mark. This rebound comes as the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury bond yield remains relatively stable around 4.25%. Cryptocurrency market updates. In the world of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin continues to exhibit volatility, oscillating around $26,000. Ethereum, on the other hand, has experienced a slight dip, edging lower toward $1,600 during the European morning. As the week progresses, investors will closely monitor high-impact data releases, including inflation figures from major economies and U.S. employment data. These economic indicators, coupled with central bank actions and global stimulus measures, will likely influence market sentiment and asset performance in the coming days. Some of the main moves in markets. Stocks. S&P 500 futures were little changed as of 9:20 a.m. Tokyo time. The S&P 500 rose 0.7%. Nasdaq 100 futures were little changed. The Nasdaq 100 rose 0.85%. Japan's Topix rose 0.9%. Australia's S&P/ASX 200 rose 0.5%. Euro Stoxx 50 futures were little changed. Currencies. The Bloomberg Dollar Spot Index was little changed. The euro was little changed at $1.0801. The Japanese yen was little changed at 146.50 per dollar. The offshore yuan rose 0.2% to 7.2835 per dollar. The Australian dollar rose 0.2% to $0.6419. Cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin was little changed at $26,070.85. Ether rose 0.1% to $1,656.16. Bonds. The yield on 10-year treasuries advanced 1 basis point to 4.25%. Australia's 10-year yield declined 2 basis points to 4.14%. Commodities. West Texas Intermediate crude rose 0.3% to $80.10 a barrel. Spot gold was little changed. In conclusion, we'd like to thank you for watching Market Briefing. market analysis, and financial news. If you enjoyed our insights and found the information helpful, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to our channel to stay updated with future analyses. Thank you again for your support, and we'll see you soon with more interesting news. Remember, the information in this video is purely informational and does not constitute investment advice. Always consult with a professional before making financial decisions.